What is up, guys? It is Coasters and Things here today, and in this video I'm going to be ranking the models of B&M coasters from my least favorite to my favorite. Now, there are rumors of B&M working on a new concept called a surf coaster, but as of now that concept has not been developed yet, so I'm not including that in this video. So B&M makes a total of 10 different coaster models. Now, they only market it as 9 because they lump their GIGA coasters in with their hyper coasters. In this video, I'm going to be separating the two as two different models because they are vastly different from each other, so this will be a top 10. Starting off in last place is the Family Coaster, otherwise known as the Family Inverted Coaster. This is actually the latest model that B&M has come up with. It debuted in 2014. Of the 10 models, this is the only one that I have not experienced at least one of yet. It's because there's only been 2 built so far, and both of them are in China. Even though I haven't ridden one of these yet, compared to B&M's other models, you can tell that this one is for a less thrilling range of audience. Number 9 is the Dive Coaster. These coasters are characterized by hanging you over the drop for a few seconds. I'm not a big fan of dive coasters, at least out of the ones I've experienced. They feel like they really only have about 2 good moments to them, the drop and the immelment afterward. And with the direction that B&M has been taking with adding vest restraints onto the dive coaster trains, that makes them even less fun than they are with the over-the-shoulder restraints. Valraven has them, and it killed the ride completely. These coasters just aren't that fun in my opinion. Number 8 is the stand-up coaster. This was B&M's first ever model of coaster. Now hear me out on this, guys. I do like stand-up coasters. Yes, they're not as good as sit-down coasters, but I feel stand-up coasters get way too much hate. I think it's because the whiny GP don't know how to ride them properly. However low you feel you need to set your restraint, set it even lower. I have not gotten a bad ride on Georgia Scorcher, and my one ride on Vortex was good too. I'm on the side that thinks stand-up coasters should stay around because they're intense and they're different. They're supposed to offer a different experience from every other coaster at the park. Number 7 is the Flying Coaster. Now, I know a lot of people would put this way higher. For me, I've ridden 2 out of the 3 Superman Ultimate Flight clones, and that's it. While they are good, and I much prefer them over the Vekoma Flyers, the one thing that keeps me from putting these higher is the roughness that you experience at the bottom of the pretzel loops. It's due to the extremely high amount of positive G-forces exerted on your body at one time. Anyone who's ever experienced a pretzel loop on a B&M Flyer knows how intense they are. But besides that, you do feel like you're flying, and it's fun to stick your arms out and pretend like you're a Superman. Now, this model could move up if and when I ride some others like Manta. Number 6 is the Wing Coaster. I really like the concept of sitting beside the track as opposed to on top of it or below it. I usually have to ride these twice, one on each side to get a good feel for them. My home park, Dollywood, has Wild Eagle, which was the first wing coaster in America. I've actually ridden all 4 of the American wing coasters, and they're all pretty enjoyable. Thunderbird is by far my favorite. It's the smoothest and the most forceful. The others aren't really forceful or as smooth. These coasters tend to have rattles to them. I'm not a fan of the vest restraints, but I found that if you just hold on to them instead of putting your hands in the air, then they don't pressure you as bad. Wing coasters are not as forceful as flying coasters, but I find them overall more enjoyable. Now we're at the top 5. Number 5 is the FLOORLESS coaster. I've ridden 3 of these now, and I've ridden 3 completely different ones. One really good one, Superman Krypton coaster, one okay one, Rougarou, and one mediocre one, Batman the Dark Knight. Before I rode Superman Krypton coaster, floorless coasters were further back on this list. Because Superman was so good, it pushed this model to the top 5. These models are overall pretty fun. One scary thing about them is if you're riding one for the first time, You feel like your feet are so close to the track that they're gonna smack the track. I always get that feeling whenever I ride floorless coasters. I try to keep my feet up whenever I ride one of these. Number 4 is the sit-down coaster, or the sitting coaster as it's marketed. I've experienced this model one time with Kumba at Busch Gardens Tampa, though I have seen Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure, but I haven't actually been to the park before. Getting back to Kumba though, it was really intense. It was one of the first really intense coasters I rode, so when I got off I was pretty overwhelmed by it. Now, I did only ride it one time, which I kind of regret now, but I remembered that one ride very well. These are intense, and in my opinion, they pack a bigger punch than the floorless coasters. There are currently 5 of these around the world, with a 6th one being built at Universal Studios Beijing that's scheduled to open next year in 2021. Number 3 is the inverted coaster. This is B&M's signature model. Over 30 of them have been built around the world. You may know them as Batman the Ride, Montu, Afterburn, Raptor, Banshee, and so forth. And most of these are intense. Batman the Ride is still one of the whippiest coasters I've ridden. I gray out every single time on it. Most of these are very smooth too. But lately, B&M's newer inverts don't pack that punch that the older ones do. Look at Banshee. You can't deny that that one is not as intense. Or Osiris at Parc Asterix in France. They do not have pre-drops. And when Blue Harvest at Gronelund opens, it won't have a pre-drop either. I just hope Blue Harvest doesn't have the vest restraints that Banshee has. These are coming in number 3 for the old ones being as intense as they are. Number 2 is the Hypercoaster. As Theme Park Crazy says, you can never go wrong with a B&M Hyper, and for the most part, I agree with that statement. I've ridden a few of these now, including Goliath, Intimidator, Diamondback, and Raging Bull. 3 of those 4 are in my top 25 as of now. These are all about delivering floater airtime and being graceful. While these can have rattles to them, they don't hinder the ride enough to knock them down. The common complaint with enthusiasts are that B&M Hypers are forceless, and some of them can be pretty forceless, but some of them can also be forceful. I've ridden examples of both. These aren't intended for enthusiasts, they are intended for the GP. These are almost always the GP favorites at their parks. Number 1, of course, is the GIGA Coaster. This is by far the best model by B&M. These are exclusive to Cedar Fair parks as of now, and there are only 3 of them in existence as of right now. Fury 325, Leviathan, and Orion, which hasn't officially opened yet as of right now. But I've ridden Fury and can testify that it's my favorite B&M and the only B&M in my top 10. These are the full package. They're tall, they're fast, they're long, they have airtime, and they have G-forces. Now, is Fury my favorite coaster? No. Both Lightning Rod and Steel Vengeance are significantly better in my opinion. For a little while, I thought Fury was better than Voyage, but then I remembered my experience on Voyage, which was really good. But these are still fantastic. The Giga Coaster is my favorite B&M model. What's your favorite coaster model that B&M has produced? How much do you agree with me on this list? You can let me know all that down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Coasters and Things signing out.